It's on? It's on. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you all. Of all the things you could be doing, you chose to spend your time with us today. So I wanted to just give you a warm welcome today. Please clap for yourselves for being here. My name is James Laddie Williams, but you have not come here to hear from me. Our panel today, titled Engineering Redemptive Impact, AI-Driven Solutions for Civil Society's Grand Challenges, seeks to explore how we will engage on this big topic that is transforming not just public policy, but also business. But before the program formally commences, I would love to invite to the platform our colleague from the World Bank, Lee, to give us some opening remarks, and then we'll pass it on to our moderator for the day, Chaste.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for being here. My name's Lee. I lead World Bank's engagement with civil societies, and we are also the organizer and host of CSPF, Civil Society Policy Forum. It's really a pleasure to have you guys here. So this is day 2 of our engagement activities for civil society. So we have a very exciting town hall yesterday, right? So I hope some of you have enjoyed that. And so if you didn't get a chance, because some of you probably flew in just today, this morning, the recording is online already. So for the CSPF itself, as you know, we've been running this for a decade. It's our largest platform for engagement with civil society organizations. So we really took a lot of pride in creating this platform for all of you. And you guys also know it's a process which is led, driven, and facilitated by CSOs. So every year we would launch a call for proposal, and at the end of the call for proposal, we usually would receive hundreds of proposals from CSOs around the world, global north, south. So this year we actually received a record number of almost 300 proposals, which we think is a reflection of you guys' trust and interest in engaging with the World Bank Group in funding solutions to the world's most challenging development issues. And so this actually created a lot of challenges for our working group members, right? So as you know, we have a working group for the Civil Society Policy Forum. So this is a working group that consists of 8 members elected actually by all of you guys. So they represent each of the regions that the World Bank has operations in. So I think we have one working group member in the room. No, Rafael? Oh, yes. Okay. So you know where to find your guy if you want to get your proposal selected next time. So they did a very thorough review of all the sessions, and one of the sessions actually stood out for its innovative perspective and the visionary strategy. So that's the session we are gathered here today. So I think so it's a very competitive process, right? So I think probably some of you submitted proposal which was unfortunately not selected. So don't take it personal, because there are 270 other proposals which were not selected. So, but this is the one of the 33 which made the final program. So I mean, for the organizers, for Chaste, you should really take pride in making this proposal really solid. And I think which we will hear from the panel discussion, and also explore these issues together. So for us, I think this isn't just a discussion. It's a strategic conversation about how AI agents and advanced data analytics can help overcome traditional barriers and transform social impact from a noble aspiration into measurable and scalable outcome. So this is also a central issue for the World Bank Group, right? So you know our work is all about outcome. It's never about output. So we measure success by the people on the ground, right? How many lives we transform, how many lives we change. So today we're going to explore, like a lady said, engineering redemptive impact. So again, a special thank you to the session organizers, the CIMA Forum Foundation, Youth Enterprise Development and Innovation Society, and I also want to do some self-promotion. We actually had a story partnerships portfolio on this Youth Enterprise Development Innovation Society, which we publish on the World Bank website. Cordy App and the Collaborative for Leadership, Policy Advocacy, and Global Exchange for leading this important discussion. So now, without further ado, let me turn it over to our moderator, Chase, founder of Semaphore Foundation, who will guide us through today's discussion. Over to you, Chase.
Thank you so much, Lou, for that. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And I would like you to congratulate the person sitting beside you and introduce yourself to them. Can we do that quickly, please? Thank you so much for doing that. So, thank you. Can we get the room together now? Thank you. If you're just joining us, just join us in front. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the World Bank Civil Society Policy Forum. It's a great time to be alive, especially when we discuss AI. So I would like to appeal to everyone to please, at this time, just give us 90 minutes of your football time as we make this session more collaborative and interactive. So if you can put your phone on silence, and let's make this event worth it. So today we'll be talking about the non-profit sector reliance on outdated tools. It's a bug in the global operating system. We're here to fix it. This isn't just a discussion. It's a strategic meeting to explore how AI agents and advanced data analytics can bypass traditional bottlenecks, turning social impact from a noble mission into a measurable, scalable outcome. We are here to talk about engineering redemptive impact. A lot of time, people ask me, why do I use the title Head of Failure and Social Experiment at Semaphore Foundation? Failure for us is not the beginning. We want to encourage civil society to grow from hosting project to creating physical product. And when we talk product, we're talking about mobile apps, web apps, and things that can help you scale your nonprofit. So today I have some amazing people who are smarter than myself, but a huge thank you to those who have made this possible, especially our producer, Ladi James, who introduced himself earlier, and some of the organization Lou mentioned earlier. So, but quickly, I'd like to take on to introduce my panelists for today's engagement. To help us engineer this new era of prosperity, I'm joined by an esteemed panel. We'll be quick on the intros and sharp on the question. So introducing the speaker to the table, I'll be introducing Dr. Letitia Markham, who is also one of our co-organizers, the founder of the Collaborative for Leadership, Policy, Advocacy, and Global Change, S-Change. Thank you so much for joining us. A strong woman after my heart is Liziana Emakwa, founder of the Center for Community Impact and Sustainability, known for our work with the AU and the UN. Thank you so much for joining us. A brother from another mother is Richard Ojuri, Vice President at M&T Bank. Thank you so much for joining us. Another very close friend and highly in product management, Kome Igbogidi, Senior Product Manager at ServiceNow, where she leads AI platform and conversational experiences, shaping the future of enterprise workflows through AI-driven solution. Kome, join us at the table, please. And not the least is an excellent person who would also be driving more of our demonstration also today, an excellent AI entrepreneur who is Winnie Manjeni, founder of Power AI. Thank you for joining us. So today we are going to be doing some deep dive and demonstration. We'll be having opening question. This is not one of your panels where we take questions one after the other. We're going to have them just give some fireside topic and their chat. We'll ask them questions from every sector, from every business, government to civil society who is in the room, who are grappling with AI roles in their mission. For me, the real question isn't whether AI is here, but where it equally moves the needle on what matters most, delivering results for people. So here's what I want to know. Is this all AI buzz delivering real impact from ChatGPT to DeepSeek to Gemini? What does it do for us as civil society? Are we chasing shining objects? And perhaps more importantly, where are you already seeing it making a tangible difference in how you operate? Does it help you write your emails better? Does it help you with your report? Or does it help you tell your loved ones that you care for them? Or how do you solve the problems that you care about the most? I did like to go through the panel and get your quick intake from your unique vantage point. So the first on my list is Komen Igbogidi at ServiceNow, Enterprising Scaling and Leadership. So Komen, the question is for you. Leading AI platform and conversational experiences at ServiceNow, and your recent interview with Arise News, and you shaping the future of enterprise. Civil society in this room desperately needs enterprise-grade scaling. Beyond technology, professional organizations also need human resources to execute this shift. What specific advice can you give nonprofits here in the room and also those who are watching us online about hiring for C-suite roles like a chief technology officer in the organization and a chief AI officer to help them scale their products and become financially viable?
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. And it's so interesting that we're having this conversation because I've been seeing the trends, and at the intersection of every conversation has been artificial intelligence, so it's really a beautiful one. Sadly, it's one of the spaces where there are very little women. Less than 20% of women are in AI globally, and smaller chunk are Black women in AI. So I'm always excited when I get to stand out in this space. When we think about CSOs and the nonprofit sector, the biggest mistake is thinking that you want to operate at the level of certain enterprise companies. You're non-for-profit. You would never really operate the way a ServiceNow, which is capping in the billions in their market share, operates. So when we think about what are the roles that are important in our organization, it makes sense to first look through, do you really need these roles? If you do you need those titles? If you do you have the capacity for those titles? Because sometimes it's easy to say that you want to name brand. You know, it's really cool. I want to be the chief technology officer. Why not? Do you really need a chief technology officer if you're fighting malaria in Adamawa State in Nigeria? If that's the cause you're pursuing. I'm Nigerian, by the way, so I'm most likely going to say that. So it's very, very important for you to begin to think through, firstly, the roles. Artificial intelligence should be used and widely used, really. And AI isn't just in tech or some certain tech spaces. AI has grown to become our day-to-day use. I tell people that AI came from the days of Alexa, the Amazon product, or Siri, or what you utilize. Conversational AI in terms of ChatGPT became rampant, and everyone thought that, oh, something new just started. It really did not just start yesterday. How are our CSOs able to utilize artificial intelligence for their cases? Now, when you think, if at all, you need these high-end roles, chief technology officer, or even a chief AI officer, which is really cool and very emerging. So I'll start with the chief technology officer. I would recommend that in a nonprofit space, what you're really looking for is someone who understands the dynamics of reproducing and not just coding. So you're not looking for just an expert who's good in computer science, who understands how to code. You're looking for someone who localization understands the pain point of what you're doing. So as a product manager, when I think about my products, what I think about is products that first the AI understand and how AI can translate with their usability. Understanding is at the core of the fundamental of how I build products. If my product doesn't have human reasoning, I'm not building it. If there's no understanding of what the customer wants, I'm not interested. I also want AI that can communicate and relate to humans. Think about it as AI as a teammate, rather than AI to replace jobs. Sadly, many places, still think that AI are just here to replace jobs. I'm like, AI is offering you new skill sets. It's offering you opportunities to expand as well. So when you're looking for a CTO, you're looking for someone who understands the pain point of your costs, who can relate to the human appeal of what you're driving, who understand how to utilize open source information and be working on budgets. You may not be able to run on an enterprise ChatGPT or Gemini if you don't have a large budget. But they're open sources. You most likely want to look out for data sets. You want a CTO that have been able to navigate the network, understand the different access points of technology. Who are the people who are driving the change? A CTO who comes into the room and is looking into a data set, and he understands that this data set just collated from Adamawa State in Nigeria, millions of people or thousands of people who are going through that. So when you're looking for a CTO again, you're looking for a CTO who's not just really great at Python or C++, but a CTO who understands human-centric drive with technology. So I always pride myself that I am at the intersection of technology and social change. That means that when I'm building relatable products that everyone can utilize, relatable products that you can as well utilize and get your jobs done faster. Why is it important for a chief AI officer if at all you need one? It's important for you to understand that as a chief AI officer, they're looking into sources that you as the driver or you as the leader in that space don't have access to. So your CAIO understand open sources. They understand how to work on budgets. They understand how to prompt engineer. Because you can see it, and I tell this to people, prompt engineering is one of the data skill sets that everyone needs to have. You can write the same prompt through ChatGPT, and I write the same, and our results are not same. The reason why my result is not going to come out the same as yours is because I've understand how to utilize the tools through prompt engineering to ask the right questions to get the exact things that I need. I understand when ChatGPT isn't giving me the information that I need. I know when I want to switch between ChatGPT and maybe a Gemini. I understand the tools that I want to utilize to write my presentations. I know that maybe I need Gemma to actually just draft a presentation. Instead of spending 5 hours thinking about a PowerPoint for a presentation, I'm literally going to do it off an AI tool. So when you're thinking of hiring those people, you want to hire people that understand how to utilize AI to produce results. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Comer, for sharing that. It's exciting to know that we have some exceptional people in the room who I so much enjoy and who have been very supportive to the cause of my work from when I started an initiative called Sanico, which is a menstrual health solution where we also adopt a lot of AI solutions in our quest. But I'd like to formally recognize the presence of our Taylor Kamara Diallo, who has just joined us in today's session, a retired UN official for over 40 years and the founder of the IBT Taylor Kamara Foundation. Welcome into the room. So from hearing Comer speak about product and chief AI officer, who in the room will be interested in hiring a CTO or a chief AI officer in their nonprofit organization? Okay. So we'll take the next question for Dr. Letitia Markham, a Fulbright scholar, who is the founder for the Collaborative for Leadership, Policy, Advocacy, and Global Exchange. Dr. Markham, you focus on leadership and policy synergy. Technology adoption requires a cultural shift first. How do we shift the nonprofit mindset from viewing technology as an overhead cost to a mandatory, measurable investment that is essential for mission success? And crucially, how does this transition align with the collaborative mission, especially in successfully navigating and partnering with the World Bank, some of the embassies you work with, and UN agencies?
Greetings, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to this panel. So I am at the intersection of the nonprofit world as well as government, whether it's U.S. government or foreign governments. And taking it from a policy perspective first, when we think about AI, when we think about the digital world, From myself, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm a Jamaican American of Nigerian descent. And a lot of times I look at the data from the foundation of stereotypes and biases when we think about meeting the missions of the nonprofit world, whether it's looking at data sets that stereotype Africans and African descents, or looking at data sets that stereotype or limit the access of women and other people who are marginalized. So often I challenge or I take on that issue first. So I just had to get that out there just so everyone can know what type of person I am. Okay, just so you'll know that. But as it relates to looking at a cultural shift that we see with nonprofits, one, whether it's looking at how a lot of nonprofits approach the world from a scarcity standpoint, it's difficult to add something new when we're constantly looking at what we already don't have, what we can't afford, how we're trying to utilize our resources to just meet the basic needs. But picking up something that she stated was just looking at even the open AI resources that are available to us. And when we have a trained workforce or a trained staff, we're able to utilize those resources to better meet our needs. So that cultural shift is not just looking at the amount that is spent or what is being taken away, the people, the resources, things like that, but actually looking at how we can better serve our communities that we are assigned to, whether that's looking at needs assessment, something that I talk about all the time when people tell me about this is what I want to do. I say, well, do the people need what you want to do? Do they really need it? Have you actually looked in depthly at certain regions, communities, even genders, even age groups, and determine what you're offering is what is needed? So AI and other digital resources can be something that we can use to utilize to better support the needs assessment. And when we look at it from a point of strategy and not cost, that will better benefit the nonprofit world as a whole. There are a lot of things, if you look through the budget, and just to be honest, through the UN, when you look through the budget of federal government, state governments, there are a lot of things that may not be necessary, but when you do not have a proper needs assessment, you often just throw resources to things that are not needed. So one thing that I always say to people is that when we're looking at AI versus saying that this is something that is not needed, we have the brains, we have the minds, look at how you can address what is needed in a better way, in a different way. Look for new platforms, new ways of meeting the needs of people. So I just think that we have to have a mindset shift to address those issues as it relates to AI and nonprofits. And for myself, because while I'm based here in Washington, D.C. and New York, I meet the needs of people globally. I have individuals working for me, whether it's interns or my regional directors. I have someone representing me right now at the AU, and we are in the process of making sure that we can assess the needs of all of the communities that we want to reach out to meet their specific needs. So utilizing AI for myself as the founder of the collaborative, it's a benefit because it's able to do the work that I'm unable to do at times, or if I do not have the capacity as it relates to our workforce. So that's one way that I use AI for my organization.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And if you're just joining us on the live stream, today is the Engineering Redemption for Impact for Civil Society. We're talking about AI and how it can empower you in your nonprofits, and if you also want to partner with technology companies within your regions. Another exciting panelist is Liziana Emakwa, and I teased her before coming for this session that she's one of the most stylish person I see, and I'm going to overdress beyond that today at today's session. But she has worked immensely this year. Like, she practically lives on the plane, flying from one country to the other to talk about different initiatives from climate. And also, she recently just completed a training session as the community impact she has been doing from the AU to the UN and now to the World Bank At global event, Lisiana, your extensive attendance at these high-level events is invaluable. I would like you to walk us through your participation at major global policy events. Given that official reporting can be slow, how can AI agents and mobile tech assist you in real time, especially in optimizing your social media reporting and engagement during critical moments, especially as we count down to COP30 that will be happening in Brazil to ensure grassroots voice is globally heard?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Chase, for the question as well as the invitation. So what I pretty much do, it's my organization, the Center for Community Impact and Sustainability. We empower young people, and especially from an advocacy standpoint, where we advocate on behalf of youths on different thematic areas, even for the Sustainable Development Goals. And part of that is also through leveraging AI to amplify the voices of young people, particularly marginalized youths in the global south. So as a global young leader and as someone who has represented young people and as well as civil society in major global platforms like the United Nations, at the African Union, or any other high-level platforms, I've learned that effective participation does not only happen in the room, right? It's also about using technology wisely, to multiply our impact. And one of the most impactful experiences that we had was early this year at the ECOSOC Youth Forum in New York, the United Nations, where we co-hosted a side event on empowering Africa's workforce through AI in partnership with the Permanent Mission of Sierra Leone. And part of that conversation highlighted how AI and mobile technology can transform youth and women's engagement in development spaces. We also successfully demonstrated how AI can instantly capture a discussion, extract key messages, and as well as generate discussion, communication materials such as video threads, such as short videos, policy threads, concise briefs in even just in 1 minute. And through this dialogue, we're able to impact 250 young people. So these are in-person youth and also our online audience. And over 78% of these young people said that they will adopt AI-based reporting using in their advocacy work moving forwards. Also, and even just talking about our upcoming events like COP30, right? If we're talking about high-level events that are coming up, so imagine, right, and especially if some of you guys have attended some of these events and been in those negotiation rooms, most of the time, like the window, it's very tight. Imagine being a young person sitting in this, sitting in a negotiation room and following a discussion on finance, on climate finance, and the time that that information is being released out to journalists, to policymakers, and even just sitting in that room and leveraging AI, even before the UNFCCC actually does a public or an official release, we're able to reach out to so many other young people that are not able to be in that room as a result of reasons to maybe lack of funding or whatsoever issue. And now, talking about me personally and how I leverage AI, and honestly, I would say AI is part of my daily workflow. As someone that I'm always traveling, I think every month, I'm always on the plane or always packing and unpacking. And I would say even for traveling plan, right, leveraging AI, for AI powered platforms, even in booking my flights, especially when I have to book my own flights, ensuring that, estimating the carbon footprint, especially as a climate advocate, it's so important. We have to exercise what we preach, as well as, our reporting format. Most of the time, being a global leader, you're being sent out on either to speak at a speaking engagement or representing a global platform. And leveraging reporting is so important, because you have to report to your sponsors, or even leading an organization, you do have to have effective reporting. So ChatGPT, Gemini has come in very useful, particularly for us young people, and even to be able to get key quotes. I mean, we've been using ChatGPT, and also for financing, which comes in so important, which is so key. I would say having to, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I always find myself in connecting flights or having layovers, and sometimes I leverage those opportunities to get out of the country, and sometimes we have to exchange money, or what is happening. Okay, so if I need to exchange money, how can I use technology, right, to be able to do that, or to able to effectively save money as well. And lastly, I would say personal style. You talked, I know that is so funny, but again, it's so important for me. My brand matters to me when I walk into the room. As part of me branding myself, I think AI has been so instrumental. Like Chase, mentioned earlier about matching colors. Like for me, that is so important. What am I going to wear if I'm going to have a speaking engagement? If I'm going to have an interview, what is it that I'm wearing? So AI has come in very useful for, especially for as a young person, as a young leader, and so for me, I'll say that's about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and I would like to thank you so much for at least showing those pointers. For me, as an example, I do use ChatGPT. Even if you prompt it so well, it could also suggest for you the kind of airlines that are providing even discounted ticket. Like I use Priceline so much. Even at last minute booking my flight to come to the World Bank, it gave me so much of a great deal. And like she mentioned, it could also be a great tool for reporting and also for suggesting some tax. As we continue also, I'd like you to know that we still have some other exceptional speakers who will be speaking during this session. There's also a powerful demonstration. So we'll appeal that you do not leave us at this time. But quickly, I'd like to move on to Richard Ojuri, a brother I met in Florida recently at another conference. He is a vice president at M&T Bank. He will be talking on finance, risk, and investment. So, Richard, the banking community needs to adapt its due diligence for AI accountability. But let's look at the practitioner level. For civil society, professionals working with banks, what are the three most critical steps they can take to effectively manage their bank accounts, assess corporate grants, and secure impact investment to turn their initiatives into sustainable products?
Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you guys for being here also. I know it's pretty late in the day and everyone been talking at you guys, so thank you guys for still being here. I haven't seen anybody yawn yet, so that's a good sign. But to talk about banking, right, let's take a step back for a quick second. AI isn't something new to banking, right? AI has been within the banking world since, 2012, really in the implementations of fraud, right? So a lot of times when you guys are out in the country and you guys get those text messages like, hey, was this you here? That's AI, right? AI kind of tracking your data, kind of like what you normally spend, where you normally are, to kind of see if it makes sense to what you're currently doing, right? So that's some of the things the banking world has been doing as far as AI. What I think is new is AI Gen, right? Like the whole AI Gen thing, that's something that's a little bit newer. I think about the chat box as well within banking that has some form of AI in it as well. So it isn't anything new. What I think is new is the accessibility to the general public, right? I think that's what's a little bit new. And what I think when people cause a frantic, right, and I actually appreciate what you said earlier, where a lot of people who own companies, not-for-profits, for-profit, they try to scale up their stuff within AI to match what you guys see on TV. That's not realistic. I don't think anybody in this room can spend $1 billion in their company. And I don't know who's in this room, but I doubt people can spend $1 billion on AI, right? To build a data center costs billions of dollars, right? So it's like, let's think smarter, right? In my own personal opinion, I do think all the spending on AI will be inflationary in the near future because a lot of people are going to go into an AI bubble is what I do think, but we're not there yet. But with some of my companies that do assess AI and stuff like that, I say this thing's simple. I think a lot of times people run into social media and they kind of make things overcomplicated. Just think simple. Who in here has Microsoft or Outlook? Use Copilot. It's not that hard, right? We all have AI in our hands. Download ChatGPT, right? And what I do think is essential is don't let ChatGPT think for you. That's what I can see is going to be a near error a lot of people are doing. It's damn near a shame people are texting ChatGPT like it's their girlfriend, right, or boyfriend. Like, let's get more practical. Let's get more real, right? What I do think AI is going to do is help us in our idea inventory. We're going to see a lot of people that want to start a business, that want to do something. They're going to chat their idea within AI function, and it's going to produce a more real idea for them. That I love, right? Maybe say, hey, okay, cool. Now that I have my idea, what are some step-by-step stuff that I can do to help me implement my idea to get funding? That's something that's good, right? And when we talk about banking, I think it's key to I'm going to talk about 3 things within the banking world. Really is to be transparent, the outcome of what you want to do, and then funding, right? So to be transparent with you guys, the banking world sometimes is old school, depending on what bank you use, right? We have some banks that are at the front of AI because they have more spending and they have more appetite for that. We have some regional banks that don't really have an appetite for it, right? Of course, they're going to do stuff in AI, but they're not going to be the first bank to implement XYZ, right? Because as I said, spending in AI can be inflationary if you're not spending wisely, right? So I think it's knowing how advanced you are in AI and knowing how advanced your bank is going to be in AI. If you're expecting your bank to be some type of digital thing, it's not going to happen. Because a lot of times banks may have branches, and that costs a bunch of their operating fund in that standpoint, right? So it's to be transparent and kind of being realistic on what you expect out of your bank to use within AI. Now, when we come to funding, I think it's key to understand what your business does and what you're looking to get out of the bank. Everyone in the room wants funding. Everyone in the room may not get funding. It just depends on how you word it and what your outcome, and align that outcome with what the bank wants. So I think I know every bank has, hey, this is what we strive for. This is our motto. This is our, I forgot, the word is blanking on me, but this is our motto. This is what we kind of push out to the world to kind of put in the communities. Align what you're doing in your non-for-profit world or business world with that same model and say, with your help and funding, this is how we're going to achieve X, Y, Z, right? What helps is if you already have done it by yourself. If someone comes, I bank non-for-profits and I bank for-profit, and I bank for-profit businesses, right? The one thing that I say all the time to people when they come to me and they have an idea, I ask them for results, right? We're big on cash flow, at least within M&T Bank, right? So, let's say you're a non-for-profit, we're still big on experience. How many years have you been doing it? Because that's the case, every woman in here will come to me and say, hey, I have an idea. Okay, how long have you been doing it? Well, I haven't really started it out yet. Well, good luck to you. You know, I mean, I can provide you resources to help you, but if you have an idea in your head, I have an idea in my head too. So how about we all implement it and start doing it, right? Have some skin in the game. Because at the end of the day, the banks aren't not-for-profits. We have investors that we need to we need to get them back profit, right? So I think it's to be a little bit more realistic with yourself, knowing what you're doing, and having an outcome. Having an outcome is the biggest thing, right? Where do you want to be? How do you know your numbers too? And then know what you're going to do with the funding that we give you is key. And be able to speak on it. Don't just go on ChatGPT and say, what should I tell a bank? Because if I ask you 3, 4, 5 questions and you're stuttering, I know what that means.
Thank you so much, Richard, for sharing that. Please, a round of applause for him, please. We're moving as fast as we can, and this time is very key. It will be a 2-part in one. It's a question for Winnie Manjeni, who is the founder for Power AI. We'll be talking around ethics, demonstration, and access. Winnie, your expertise is the intersection of ethics and practical AI. What is the most immediate high return use case? You've heard from Richard, you've heard from Coleman, Lisiana, and Dr. Letitia. What are the high return use case for an AI agent for a small NGO, specifically for managing teams? You know, strong pain points come from fundraising. How do I run my website for awareness? More importantly, after your speech, we would like to move from theory to action, where you practically show us. A lot of people in the room, maybe they've been talking about AI, and the only AI they know is
ChatGPT.
You know, so you tell us more about this AI agent that makes work simple, from how we've been able to also come together, because our organization and your Semaphore Foundation and the Power AI is to see how nonprofits, embassy representatives in the room World Bank officials can begin to use them, especially assessing Google credit. A lot of organizations get Google credit, but they don't even know how to use them. So you'll be talking on those perception, leveraging Google hard grants. So I would also call Ladi, who would also be helping me with this session to making sure that this is as interactive and engaging, and we'll also work with time. And after that, we'll be having two exceptional persons who would give additional comments, then we'll also take questions from the room. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chase. Quick introduction about myself, Winnie Mangeni here, born and raised in Kenya. And I'm the founder of Power AI, which is a Pan-African alignment language model. And prior to that, I was working on Microsoft Copilot, and I was one of the product developers. And any features you probably would have seen in Copilot, it could have been in my team. And while I was doing that, I think my biggest question was, why doesn't Africa have a language model? And part of it is, with a couple of, I think, researchers that I went to school with, we came together and we decided to have a research group and actually build a language model. And while we were building, we realized that maybe large language models don't work for us. Maybe small language models work better. Part of it is because electricity in some regions is very scarce. Another reason is also you get that some language models do not have that contextual meaning. Let's say someone is speaking in Hausa, Zulu, or Kiswahili. Let's say you're speaking to ChatGPT and you're using it for an NGO. The people you're serving will be speaking in your own language. So the moment you speak, it loses that context, right? So I think around 2017, we had started collecting data. So in terms of ethics and data collections, we have collected around 67 billion tokens, right? And that is in 19 languages in Africa, and that's why you have Power existing right now. Now, I won't be biased, so I will speak about every other AI that is available because I really like playing around with different AI language models. And, Copilot being my previous one that I really liked. Nowadays, I like Perplexity, Gemini, you name it. But again, I'll still resort back to Power. High use cases that I've seen specifically, enterprise, and also I can say NGOs. I think one that I worked with the UN was volunteer management, whereby you get a lot of volunteers, especially as an NGO, and you really can't manage every single volunteer, or at the same time do project management that is able to actually make specific impact in the specific organization that you have, right? Then another thing that we found was, especially some NGOs just, maybe received some funding and they had even some GPUs or they had some things to build with, but then they just didn't know how to go about it. So to some extent, you'll need a CTO really to understand what specifics are needed for that, if you're like a high level, I can say NGO. So depending on your maturity level in that NGO, then you can be able to at least pick what best fits you, right? So you can get NGOs that are really starting off whereby it will be a need where you don't even really need a technical person. All you need is somebody that really understands what to do with technology. And then in that maturity level, then you can say, okay, for us, we might just create specific agents that are our task force and we deploy them in our organization and then they can be used, right? And then you can get other organizations where it's medium to high, whereby we place those ones as, let's say, maybe their data may be at risk, right? And if their data is at risk, that's where we recommend, okay, what's the best tool for you to use if your data is at risk? And then you get those which are so big that they really need heavy management where they'll be needing let's say different types of agents. They'll need a project management, they'll need grant proposal agents, they'll need agents for ADO. They use, let's say, Azure DevOps to manage, so they need some tasks to be automated, right? So you'll have an agent that basically, maybe you still need a PM to some extent, but once the process is already done, the agent can continue doing the tasks. So the PM's work, the project manager's work, focuses more on I can say high return things in the organization. Now, I think I speak better when I show, so I'll shortly give a demo on like how you can use different specific agents, whether it's Power, whether it's OpenAI, whether it's your Geminis and your Googles, and then you can be able to at least start your journey in creating those agents. I think I'll just start my demo very shortly, and let me just hook this up. And I'll go with Power because that's my bias today. And if you have any questions, please let me know. So I think Chase, maybe we can sorry about that. I think everybody knows ChatGPT, right? And I think I always get that question from a lot of people saying, oh, I use ChatGPT, why should I use Power? So I think that's where we come in. So I'll just change, and maybe you can, I had a QR code here for those who wanted to maybe, start. Yeah, I can just get into my WhatsApp and grab it quickly. Okay, and then I can just pick my ChatGPT. And maybe, not connected to the internet. I am guest connect. Can you hear me? Perfect. Okay. For those who want to log in. So right now, Power, we have around 19 languages, but we focus mainly on Swahili. And yeah, we can do the QR code after, right? So we do small language models for NGOs. And as you can see, we can have your chat here, whereby when you log in directly, power-ai.com, you should be able to see the chat there, right? So right now, this is the basic level, whereby, we created some of this with Google credits. For those who have Google credits, Google gives you a TPU to access and also some cloud credits that you can really use to develop. And also Microsoft gave me some good credits, so thumbs up for that. So one of our best models here is Ember, which is just mostly, funny for everyday tasks, and then Blaze is more powerful. You can think deeper, and then for those NGOs that are looking to integrate payments, let's say you want mobile money, but you don't have, let's say, an M-Pesa integration or an Airtel integration, and you just need something really quick and fast, you can put your PesaPay there, right, if you're in those regions, right? But then right now, for the purposes of the demo, this one is like, language-based, whereby, our focus mainly is mostly on the languages. But then when we come in, specifically to the specific agents you need to build, I wanted to start with helping you to build an agent. Now, I already have a couple that I had created, right? And you can still do the same thing with OpenAI. So I'm going to pick up this People's First Fund that I saw. And, it was for a nonprofit. And a nonprofit that is willing to, let's say, support for nonprofits that, to deploy some benefits. Now, what I want us to do today here is to create an agent that is going to be able to help us write this grant proposal. And then also maybe we can go through like maybe a project report agent and go from there, right? So I'll start with creating this agent, right? And you can come in, put just basic information. Let's say this is a grant proposal agent, right? And the purpose of this is to ground your data, right? The data you're going to be getting from this one will just be for the specific need that you need this agent to do, right? And let's say, for example, I use this as the description, so I'll just copy it so I do not have to do it again. So you can come here and basically have the agent here where it will be the grant later agent, and the purpose of it is to give you some data on like you writing some grants and then your priorities as a nonprofit. So, you can use the same, let's say, description on that agent, right? And then you can have your stated questions. What can you help me with? Or you can change it and you can say, help me write a grant proposal. Now, the goal of doing this is, again, to ground it to the data that you want, right? Speaking about, just the ethics piece of it. Proposal. And then you can change the questions as you go, give it a personality, whether you want. I normally use the default one. You can add web search if you need to, and then add a knowledge base if you need to, and you have your agent there, right? So I'll pick it up. And since this one is new and I hadn't worked on it yet, I'll pick the one that I've worked on already. So this is a grant proposal one, and I wanted to really just help me write this proposal. And, just with normal prompting, I can just come to this grant writer agent. First, I can just say, hey, what can you help me with here? So basically this one will be yours. So you can create different agents, say this is a project management, this is a HR one, put your ServiceNow connection if you want to do some HR tickets, put other connections if you want to, connect it to different things, right? So it gives you your goal here and you can say, could you please help me write this proposal? Okay, and as you go, proposal, and as you go, this one, this agent will continue, assisting you writing that proposal. The thing with Power, though, it will not give you all the answers. It will give you spaces for you to fill. So the user really has to go in and actually come in and, really, really interact with it up until it gives you something beneficial, right? So, however you provide me. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, with a needs statement and a problem statement. Let's say, and prompting here comes good, that ensures we provide help to workers in blue-collar jobs, right? And the agent will continue giving you those specifics, right? So I think in terms of the ethical piece of the agent, the Power will continue helping with that grant proposal piece. And then also you can create another agent for just like a project report. And for this specific agent, I'd already put in a project and I'd put a report from a research we had already done about some data set on Sukuma, which is a language. So you can ask it to give you those specific report for that Sukuma language. Now, the big challenge that comes here, especially while using AI and ethically using data, the challenge that we see with NGOs is like they have a lot of data, they just don't know what to do with it, right? And then sometimes it's, it might be fragmented or they want to store it somewhere. And that's why, like, if you have credits, like let's say you have qualified for Google for startups or you have qualified for Microsoft for nonprofits, how are you able to use those grants to at least help you create something similar, right? So you can even create a website. There's Lovable right now where you can just prompt and a website is created and you can plug an agent there and the agent can be on your website and it responds. I remember another NGO was needing a customer service support agent whereby they were using ChatGPT but it loses context in Zulu when it's speaking, right? So once they use Power, they're able to connect there and they're able to continue those use cases. And just as my previous panelist has said, sometimes there's just problems that are African problems that you need African solutions, right? So this is just not a tool. You can pretty much plug it on your phone and have your own tiny model that no one has access to. You can even put on USSD, which is the text, normally. So the biggest challenge we have been seeing, especially in regions, especially in Africa, is education is big and people have a challenge. Maybe it will be a 1-to-40 ratio in terms of education for students. So where power comes in is we plug it in their USSD phones and they can text it as if they're texting on phone like a normal text conversation, and it gives them the same data as if they're on iMessage, basically, right? So innovative ways of actually helping the clients or the people you're serving, let's say on your day-to-day volunteering, is very key, especially when using AI, to me, I think. And if you're accessing regions, let's say, it's a flooded region, you can't access it, Wi-Fi might not even work, right? So that's why we come in, we do those small models, whereby in low resource environment that really, really will not, you will need, let's say, big compute if you're using, let's say, a big model. That's why we kind of come in and we break that down and users can be able to use that. So that's just one specific use case I wanted to go in. And also in terms of voices, I think another use case we have seen is voice, where you have people wanting to build, some people want to use normal just voice conversations, they just don't want to use text, or if it's your grandma, they just want to speak on the phone and the phone really understand them, right? So they won't have the time to text, right? So that's where we come in and we use this technology on those use cases that serve really regions that do not have that much, I can say, resources, right? And some of the languages also might be low resource, so you might not really be able to capture some of the languages. So big languages, we've been able to capture Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Swahili. But then for the small one, and then those languages, you're able to at least assist the people in your region if you cannot even understand what they're speaking. Another use case I think I've seen would be, I can say just, some in Copilot, which is my other product, has been in meetings. So if you have Copilot and you have Microsoft credits, you should be able to leverage some of the M365 chat options, and you can really plug Copilot on your Teams and it can summarize it when you're speaking. Also, it can summarize after the conversation, it can summarize the video, it can do pretty much anything enterprise level. But then if you're looking for a cheaper solution, that's where you look for those low resource type of solutions that will work for the specific regions. That's it on my end if anyone had questions.
It's a really cool tool.
Yeah.
So just to exercise host privileges here, can somebody in the room tell us one pain point that you're currently experiencing as relates to leading your organizations? And can you speak to how I could potentially answer that pain point for some of us in the room? Because we're trying to go from theory to practice. Now we're going from practical to I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
So any volunteer in the audience, just one pain point, and Winnie will solve it for us now.
Okay.
30 seconds.
Thank God I'm technical.
About how organizations, especially non-profit, can actually have 365 for free, and to use some of those things, Copilot. You go through TechSoup. A lot of people are not aware about that because I do non-profit management and I consult. Go through TechSoup, apply to them. You have 365 Premium for free, Microsoft 365, and you can use Copilot. And they have a lot of new product now that is actually targeted to Microsoft or non-profit. So if you go to TechSoup, yes, TechSoup is going to TechSoup. Apply to TechSoup. They are the one that is actually. Sorry about that. So TechSoup are the vendor that is actually handling that for Microsoft. So if you want to apply as a non-profit, you have your IRS. If you are here in the US, you have your IRS letter that actually gives you approval as a non-profit. Then you go to TechSoup. Once you submit the letter with your vision and your mission statement, you get approval. So that's, yes. So they have a lot of products now that targets like Microsoft or non-profit.
Thank you so much for that input.
Yeah.
Any other pain points? Because this is our answer here. Let's go.
Did I need to answer that or all good?
No, he has answered.
Oh, he has answered it. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was like, I was like, is that a question?
Be a brief pain point. 20-person NGO. Our pain point is trying to train our staff on like how do we get them to the point where they can use AI for like a bunch of kind of routine tasks, so that we can set them up for their professional development. And then like my personal pain point for this is like finding a solution to make a presentation in my company's brand.
So number one, find a solution to make a company presentation like slide decks.
Yeah, but like on brand, like
on your
brand,
company
not
brand,
on, like kind of weird.
Oh yeah.
Other
So
brands.
that one.
So I just want people's recs for that, but like thanks.
Oh, actually, I can give you an agent that does that already. I think that I did that one for Microsoft, for Bain actually, where we did an agent for them that did the PowerPoint slides for consultants because they wanted things faster. Yeah, so I think I can maybe talk to you right after. What you'll need to do is connect maybe to a connector called Encodian that we will put it in the agent, and then it will recreate those slides. So it's just a connector that you might need, and then we can be able to do that. I can just give you the solution and you can use it. So training staff. So first, I think best use case, and I don't want to give you another solution, but Power also has like a tutor platform that we put courses in. So depending on your organization, you can give us any training materials that you need your organizations to go through, and we can pretty much put it in terms of like a plan for you, for the folks that are joining, and then the agent will be prompting them on whatever questions you want the agent to put for us to put in, we can put in and make the agent live, and then your staff can do that. If you want a self-serve solution though, you can just go in. There is also an option when you're creating the agents to attach the files. So when I go to here and I update my agent, right, I can add my knowledge base here, and you can upload all the files you need your people to learn, right? So once you upload all the files here, then you can create some sort of plan, and on your questions here, kind of target them on what you need people to learn. So let's say here you want people to learn about X, Y, and Z. You can say, this is what I want, learn about blah, right? And you have those prompts, and then people just come in, they prompt, and it just gives the answers based on just this material. Because the moment you ground it on the knowledge base, it just grounds on that knowledge base, and you remove web search, and then that is just your own material, it's your own agent.
Will you please show us that QR code? Will you going to stick around after this?
Oh no, it's the QR code to this. Yeah, I'll stick around and maybe.
Nobody's allowed to leave until you've talked to Winnie. We have to solve your problem.
Can I?
Dr. Letitia, please.
Yeah, Letitia.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify. And when you speak to training, is it more specific to the organization, or are you discussing or talking about training for a specific platform, general training?
Good question.
Actually, good question.
Your question, your response is really helpful, but I was actually meaning like training our staff with regard to their use of AI within our business.
Oh, right. So one platform, and it's pretty simple, but edX, whether it's Harvard, Yale, there are a lot of institutions that have utilized edX, which is pretty much a conglomerate of educational institutions, and they actually have the AI training. So you would possibly, if it will benefit you, you can just add a training for a specific program. But there are also some, and I'll make sure I speak to you as well, so I understand it. Oh, okay.
Kumi, I think for that question, if you actually want to do your own training,
I thought it's your own.
I think there's Microsoft has LMS, right? LMS platform. Kumi, is Kumi right? Winnie, sorry. Okay, Microsoft has an LMS platform that you can use for your own training, like your own training, personalized training. Like if you want to customize your training for yourself and for your company, you can use Microsoft LMS for that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I know we would love a practical session that we can do in detail, where we would invite all of the speakers to show, but we truly at least like to acknowledge some people in the room. We have Chief Rafiu, who made at least one of our proposals successful for us to host this session. Mr. Chief Rafiola is also a representative at the Civil Society Public Forum, is also hosting an event tomorrow. I see Adebusuyi also will be having his event here on October 17. I recognize Ojo, who had spoken earlier. I see my brother from Poland, Abdul. I see Yunusa, Lucy, Lady Zulia, Olivia in the room also, and I see Taiwo Akerele. I thank you so much, guys, for at least staying up to this time. One of the practical ways that we're doing this is like Semaphore Foundation is looking at working with other tech companies like Power, the Collaborative, so you can have a full understanding of using this tool. We see that nonprofits struggle with even fellowship applications, applying for grants. You know, these are key tools that are necessary, and we want to make it as practical. So I'm also going to be handing over to James later on to at least give a recap of our session so far. We've heard from representatives from Power AI, ServiceNow, M&T Bank, Lisiana spoke earlier, and Dr. Letitia Malcolm. But truly, one speaker who would have had in the room, Eitai Ogumola, who had a very emergency issue, also built something around talent. This is something key that the president of the World Bank was speaking about yesterday, about jobs, which is very important. Like, how do we assess some of these tools in filling those gaps? So it's at this time also that I would also call James Laddie, who is an exceptional person. It's also good to pretty much recognize his work so far, also producing this event. But I'd like to introduce him properly and also throw him this question, because our idea is to have a final communique that we can send to the World Bank and the IMF to see how we can build this. So, James, will thank you. We would like to close this with you because you bring a deep advisory regard to this conversation, especially as the president of Akada LLC, and with your experience advising governments, corporations, and nonprofits from McKinsey, and also to the New York City Mayor Office. You understand how institutional bureaucracy works and how to cut through it. So we have spent this session engineering redemptive impact, showing the blueprint for using AI to eliminate friction in financial inclusion and resource optimization. Now, channeling your advisory experience, you know, let's create this report that we'll present to the team to see one piece of strategic advice to them on 3 critical points, which I will mention. Collaboration. You could listen to the civil society professionals in the room, and they're seeking answers on how to best collaborate, trust coalitions of tech founders like Power, who is in the room. Funding is critical. How do they create a funding mechanism, especially for friction eliminating tools, like how Power have shown them how to even do report writing. Amplification. There are media people also in the room, and we also did a couple of publications before this event. I know Kome spoke with Arise News, and one of the key questions, Kome, can you briefly just share that experience with Arise News that you had yesterday preceding to this event?
I think it was great, and thanks, Chase, for making that happen as well. More importantly, though Arise TV News business audience and technology as well was just more around driving the AI conversations. Like I shared earlier, I'm seeing the trends around AI, and I'm excited that not just meetings, global meetings, are having conversations around AI. I'm an advocate for youth transitioning in AI, as well as Young Professionals Network with the United Nations Association. So when I stay in rooms and I see young people who are curious or participating in AI, it's really exciting to know. AI, like we know, is garbage in, garbage out. Always excited to throw that in. So when you think that AI isn't working exactly the way you want it, it's because the data set that you put in aren't really trained to be successful. So it's one of the things where I always advise and recommend that you want to be at the intersection of policy. Then we also want to avoid the digital or even an AI divide between the North, West, and South and all of those things where I always don't like it when it feels like Africa is the needy ones, where I have really seen that even opportunities in the West really do need the systems as well. So it's really important for us to own our story, redefine it, and re-narrate that story as well. When you think about it, it's expensive, really expensive, just like, everyone have said. AI is expensive, but there are models and systems for you to utilize them. So it was great.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I saw that interview and it was great. And we want to be able to amplify those stories. So we would encourage those in the room, if you're taking pictures and videos here, please share with your platform. Let them know what this conversation can be and how we can leverage that. So we're going to move to you, Ladi. Taking that shift, like you mentioned, from the poverty talk, from being beggy, seeking help and all, to engineering impact, and also the message to get to the right budget orders. Thank you so much, Ladi.
How's everyone doing? I'm not sure. How is everybody doing? Good, good, good. Well, thank you all for being here. So Mr. Chase has given me a fat, heavy agenda item to discuss. So I'm going to attempt to do a recap of the conversation, of what I heard. I didn't hear everything because I was running up and down, chasing people. So I'll recap what I heard, and then I would make pointed remarks on the question that he has posed to me. So what did we hear today? Number one, AI is not a one-size-fits-all solution. I know in the development community, we are tired of hearing that expression, but again, it is not a one-size-fits-all solution. So we need to carefully assess our needs and ensure that we are deploying AI in ways that respond to those needs responsibly. So we don't need a chief AI officer when our mandate only requires small baby AI. Number two, we should see technology as a strategic investment, as an enabler of our missions. We don't need to see it as an overhead cost, but seeing it as a tool that can allow us to succeed. And on that point, we need to bring the practicality and the shrewdness of business. Make sure there's an investment case for your AI use. It's not just charity. You approach the bank, you must have your business case, your ROI clearly defined so that, we can actually deploy capital in the economy in a way that is helpful to everyone. The third thing I heard was around ethical and human-centered AI. I think if we leave this room and go out in the world and AI is replacing people's jobs, we've missed the point. AI should be a tool to make this world more loving, more beautiful. AI should give people the gift of time back. It should help us be joyful. Tech people often have a fantasy of a world where there are no human beings. Civil society they tell you in the movies, watch Hollywood, iRobot. Like my brother was saying, they've been dreaming about this thing and spending money on it. So I'm charging everyone in this room to make sure we do not arrive at a world where AI replaces people. Instead, AI should turbocharge our capabilities. That's my recap. If I've not missed anything, please if I've missed anything, talk to your panelists after the conversation. Now, to your question. It's rare that I get to counsel the World Bank. The World Bank is literally in this room, and people who are partners of the World Bank are in this room, so I don't take the opportunity to speak to this point lightly by any means. Consultants, we like lists. Collaboration, funding, and amplification. On collaboration, let me be more precise. I know that the World Bank would be impactful if it doubles down on its role as a catalytic convener. The fact that we are all in this room, that a leader from that CSO has solved a problem with a leader from this tech company is a miracle. So whatever process led to choosing us, I'm not just saying this because our proposal won, whatever process led you to choosing a panel that fills a gap, please double down on it, refine it to create these opportunities that will have an impact. I know people are going to talk to my panelists today. I know people are going to make friends with each other and go build something, right? So be that catalytic convener that the world needs. Because guess what? The private sector won't do that. I know because I'm part of them, right? Number two, on funding. I know you asked for one advice, but your question was big. Funding. I know it would be impactful for the World Bank to truly be, to the extent that your rules allow, to be a market shaper, a creator of opportunities. This is true in public policy in our countries. The innovations that will change the world, the private actors often are like, I don't know about that. Let me see your results first. So I need the World Bank to decide on what are those big bets, that early evidence, that catalytic capital that then makes the private market say, this makes sense, let's get in on this. So this requires you to look at proposals differently. This requires you to consider evidence differently. Somebody may come with an idea that it's only qualitative but could be impactful, right? So that's number one. Number two, related to that, take risks. Be willing to fail. I mean, this is a very entrepreneurial group. I think the risk and reward relationship still ties here. So we need to get disciplined about how we deploy that risk capital. Like, hey, we're willing to fail. Because when you go into the game without that willingness to fail, you're not going to take the bet that could unlock change for the people in this room. So that's my second one. And then the third one, data and evidence. Sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. Google credits. I didn't hear of Google credits until they called me to do this panel. Copilot, all that stuff is news to me. So I want the World Bank to double down in its role as a knowledge creator. This is the most intellectually capable organization in Washington. I dare anybody to bring me evidence to challenge that. The brain power that's here, the curiosity that's here. So please, let's deploy that to publish those studies. These are the people reading the studies, and they are using it to make decisions in real time. So please lean into your role as that knowledge creator, asking questions that matter and answering them. Amplification. I think my counsel to the bank here is to separate hype from substance. Believe me that the loudest voices in the room often are not the most insightful. So as we're choosing what products to lift up, what winners to pick, let's be extra rigorous that we are actually picking people who would change this world, building things. The person could be in Rwanda or Nigeria or Vietnam. Let's go find those people who don't have the assets to make it to the headlines, right? These small AI folks. Let's find them and let's lift up those stories. And finally, to tie it up, my training is in public policy. One of the things I think is important for us to do in this group is to decide what we will not do as far as AI is concerned. My panelists here have given me number one. I must not allow AI think for me. It can't. So let's make a list of the constitution that will guide us when we are engaging with AI, because it seems inevitable. I will not let AI think for me. I will not let AI cause me to make inhuman decisions. But let's make that list. And I think we have a chance at making sure that AI delivers on its value proposition of being a tool to make this world beautiful. That's not one advice, but thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you so much for sharing that. As we lead this session with a clear mandate for engineering redemptive impact, the nonprofit sector must move from operating as a vulnerable project to building financially viable products. We have listened to Koma Igbogidi, Senior Product Manager of AI and Conversational Platform at ServiceNow. We advise you also to do business with Richard Ojuri, Vice President, Business Bank and M&T Bank. I believe your bank would also be a non-profit-friendly bank. So we encourage that opportunities like this can fall into your radar where you can sponsor some of these initiatives and help us scale faster. We'll also encourage you to collaborate with Lisiana Emakwa, Founder, Center for Community Impact and Sustainability, as they prepare for their next engagement at COP in Brazil. And I noticed some people also will be going to Doha later in the month. Chief Rafiola Reorganization, Yedis, and Adebusi would also be going to Doha. I would like you also to do business also with Dr. Letitia Markham, founder of the Collaborative for Leadership, Policy Advocacy, and Global Exchange. While I take on this comment, I know I'll put my mama also on the spot to say something as we close, who is our Taylor Camara Diallo. But our desired outcomes are not just discussion points. They are actionable steps. Number one is the product mindset, encouraging nonprofits to shift funding from temporary projects to building scalable, sustainable software products. We're encouraging AI for efficiency. Do not see AI as a cheating tool. Widespread adoption of AI agents to manage your teams, automate fundraising follow-ups, and manage your website content for awareness. A lot of nonprofit websites are struggling right now. Strategic partnership. Power mentioned earlier, you can leverage tools like Google Ad Grants, not just for visibility. And she shared a website also where they're currently calling for an RFP where you can secure funding. So you should connect with her and see how you can apply for such program. But as a bridge to corporate partnership and impact investment, my profound thanks to Lou and to the World Bank team for engaging on these critical policy questions and for selecting our panel. And to all the panelists, we advise that you connect with us, the organizers, which is the Semalfa Foundation, Youth Enterprise Development and Innovative Society, the Concord app, and the Collaborative to continue this work. Let's make sure that every handshake, every policy, and every dollar is tracked, valued, and converted into the measurable change the world demands. Thank you, and I'll call on Howard to give her last remarks. Thank you.
I'll be fast because I think I'm impressed and overwhelmed by everything I've heard. So how you doing? How are you doing? And I'm not AI, I'm for real. Thanks so much, Chase, for giving me the floor. I'm really, I guess, honored and touched. There are a lot of people here who I've seen who I've mentored with and without AI. And it's really, I feel proud to see the young generation of Africa putting their voices out here. I came from New York today because now I'm retired, as Chase said, and I'm leading my own foundation. And I was privileged enough to have one of the questions for the roundtable for the executive director to be selected. But of course, like a true West African, I was late. And they asked the question on my behalf. But what I was really thinking about, and this is what I'm relating to this session, is that I worked in the UN for close to 40 years, and I love the UN, but I always felt a disconnect from people. You know, I felt as if I did my job well on my desk. I wrote great projects. I interacted with people. But somehow I felt it was too much of a talk shop. And I know the talk shop is needed, but I always felt as if that we could do more on the ground and bring the voices of the people to the forefront. And this is what I like about this today. Abari, my sister from Kenya, talk about power. It's so refreshing to hear something fueled and generated from the continent and coming from our own context. And I would love to see that in all the different regions. So for me, that's what I've taken out from here today, that solutions need to be generated on the ground, generated by the voices and the power of people. Because I think sometimes in these great organizations that we all believe in, United Nations, World Bank, WFP, FAO, we're missing that connection to people. I spent a month in Sierra Leone in April last year, and I came back very discouraged. Although I felt the government was doing a lot, I felt as if, I could feel the pain of the everyday person. And I kept asking myself, what is missing? What is the government missing? What is the UN missing? Because every UN agency is in Sierra Leone. But I could still feel the poverty, the hunger, the lack of respect, lack of dignity that people felt. And I came to the World Bank to ask that question. What is the World Bank doing to make sure when you work with governments, you're involving the thought process, the voices of people, women, young people, so that when you talk about job creation and sustainability, their voices are at the forefront. Although I was late, somebody did ask the question on my behalf, as I said. But this is what this panel, for me, has brought a reality to. So I really want to commend everybody. I want to thank our sister in the World Bank for really spotlighting, because we need more sessions like this, bringing the voices again of each and every one of us so that people can hear us. Because what I learned when I was in Sierra Leone, although we are in such a dire situation, and I learned this in Kenya. I worked in Kenya for 10 years. Kibera, Mathare, Kawangware. The solutions are there. The young people are already doing it. Solar, I saw that 15 years ago in Kibera. Young people using whatever they could to power their cell phones. And just last week, I was speaking to another young lady from Kenya who was telling me she's managing and manipulating AI. And I'm like, So how do you do that? To answer the right questions. But that means that her solutions are coming from a Kenyan African perspective, and out to the world. So again, congratulations. Thank you so much. I could go on and on, but I'm just a small fry You know, like they say in America, I'm a squirrel trying to get my nut. But I'm so happy to be here on the global stage and connecting with people from all different perspectives. And congratulations, Chase. Mama is proud of you. And congratulations to everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'd like to call Chief Rafiu Olaore to speak briefly.
Distinguished colleagues, I want to congratulate everyone for being part of this program. One of the beauties of this program is that it is not restricted to this place. The World Bank is live streaming this program. People are watching, millions of people are watching, and they continue to watch this program. So I want to appreciate all the sponsors, organizers, and the panelists for the job well done, and then our participants for being here to make this occasion a very important one. Please, it's not limited to this place. Let's continue to spread the good news. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Yeah.
I'd like to also call Adebusuyu Lumadewa to also give his remarks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. King of Spot On. Thank you for what you do. I'm going to retaliate. Thank you so much, Liu. Also, all the panelists. I want to thank you for doing a wonderful work. One thing I'm taking out of this is the sustainability aspect of Africans, making Africans proud at the global level. And also want to congratulate you for this audacious task and for championing this cause. As you are calling everybody, something just came up to my mind. You need to be like a link, come up with a solution, link, the bridge that connects people to their world. Thank you so much. God bless you.
This is the final one. Yunusa Kalon, please. Yunusa.
He's live streaming everything.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is more or less impromptu. Forgive my eyes that they're a bit dull because I've not slept for the past 48 hours. I've known this gentleman for some time now, and he's one person I know who has taught me to say no. No can be transformed into maybe it can happen later. And me seeing him at the World Bank today doing this, I commend you. I commend the speakers, and I'm very pleased to have a well-experienced female-dominated panel in AI. That's something, as someone who promotes gender, I was very pleased to see that. I know that AI is safe when you have more women. We're not going to have problems in our parliament to have ratifications of AI policies at government level. We just hope that whatever we take from here, we find a way to dilute it down to the girl or the young man who is in a community that doesn't have internet access to watch this live stream or come to Washington, D.C. Last year, I was here to challenge the World Bank, and we did on several discussions. Today, we see progress. Chase is here championing this. My brother will be here again tomorrow. Chair, well done, sir. And we made a whole lot of noise last year, and we saw the improvement. So that's one thing I want to commend everybody who has sat till this moment to be here. I'm very grateful to you, because you could have left the room by now. You could have been in some other meetings, but you choose to listen to whatever that's coming from us. Thank you. We hope that this will go beyond conversations in this room. We hope that we can at least be able to impact one life. That's my simple task and simple request. You can't change everybody. Just take one person at a time, one community, one project, and let's see the difference in society. We all hail Hawa Diallo, who's been a trailblazer for all of us from the UN perspective. Me being on a flight 48 hours stretching between continents and being here at the World Bank giving this fine gist, it shows level of commitment. People think it's fun, but I tell you, start to be doing these kinds of things, then you understand that if you're not committed to what we are doing here, fatigue will overtake you and you'll just be here doing basically nothing. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Chase, for the impromptu. I hope we'll have successful deliberations before the end of the World Bank meetings and other subsequent high-level engagements in DC. Excuse me.
Thank you so much. I just got a whisper now that Olivia Dedinga, it's also good that you see someone on social media who posts consistently about the World Bank issues. He writes extensively. So Olivia, I'd like you to just at least say something, at least identify people who are giving their best in the space.
Yes. Bon, je parle aussi l'anglais, mais je suis fluent en français, donc je n'ai pas envie de vous retenir plus. Je vois qu'il est déjà l'heure, ils ont dit que ça se termine à 17h45, donc je tiens simplement à remercier le frère Chesley dont j'ai fait la connaissance l'année passée. C'est vraiment un leader très engagé, un leader engagé pour la promotion non seulement de la technologie, mais aussi sur le domaine de l'égalité des genres, dans le domaine du développement en général. Je tiens à lui tirer chapeau. J'avais d'autres obligations, je devais mettre à certaines réceptions, mais j'ai dit non, par rapport à ce qu'il fait, il faudrait que je sois là. Et pas seulement lui, il m'a envoyé le flyers. J'ai vu qu'il y avait vraiment un panel composé d'éminentes personnalités. Et je suis également, peut-être vous ne le savez pas, je suis un défenseur des droits de l'homme et particulièrement de la cause féminine. Et j'ai vu qu'il y avait dans le panel beaucoup de femmes. J'ai dit il fallait que je vienne aujourd'hui les encourager. J'ai entendu beaucoup parler de Lisana, je ne la connaissais pas. Tout à l'heure, j'étais là, je l'ai ajoutée déjà sur LinkedIn. Elle fait partie de ma connexion. Et à travers tout ce qu'elles ont délivré ce soir, on a appris beaucoup de choses. Je ne suis pas un expert en technologie, en AI. Je ne peux pas trop commenter là-dessus, mais j'ai appris beaucoup à travers vous. Et j'espère que ça va m'aider également dans mon ONG. J'ai plusieurs hats. I don't have time to talk about myself. You will find it yourself. Thank you very much and see you next time.
Thank you. I would like to call Mubarak Osman and Ojo Buxela as our finalists. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think this is a beautiful opportunity. I have learned so much about AI. In fact, the ladies were very eloquent in their presentation. And one thing I observed was that they knew what they were talking about. They were all experts in their field of endeavors. I hope tomorrow you guys will be here once again to support us, make our presentation. Thank you very much for this beautiful opportunity.
Thank you, everyone. Tomorrow we'll start at 9 a.m. So we have 8 sessions.
Please scan the QR code.
Sorry.
Scan the QR code.
Yeah, same place.
Once again, thank you, Chase. Once again, I'm just going to say this like a farewell, speech to everybody that took their time to come around and wait till the end of the event. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to see you tomorrow for the CSO event of Mr. Rafiola. And thank you. As you go, I wish everyone a good and safe trip back to your different destinations. Thank you.
So group photos with the panelists, please. Group photos with the panelists. Please scan the barcode. I know. Lou, can we have you in a picture, please? Thank you. Thank you. Come here, Winnie. Let's take a picture quickly.
Hi. Thank you. How are you? You're from Osman. Oh, I was in Accra early this year. I should be
Sorry, sir. Where can we stand? Do you think this is okay? Yeah. Let's stay here, please.
Can you take a picture?
Yes.
Quickly, so we can take a...
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you join us in the picture so we can...
Yeah, we're here.
Let's see if I can get that.
Anti-hour, please. Anti-hour.
Mr. Yalo.
Jesus, quickly, we'll come quickly. Okay. Dr. Letitia, we need you inside.
I've been summoned.
Mrs. Diallo, we are waiting for you. Okay, wait, just go to wait. While we are waiting for Mr. Diallo.
Yes,